India shares its largest land border with Bangladesh. Now, Sheikh Hasina's tenure saw a boost in trade between India and Bangladesh. Some even call it the golden age of Indo-Bangladesh ties. Bilateral ties reached $13 billion in 2023-24. With Sheikh Hasina gone, what will be the impact on these high-stake investments for India? India has the following agreements with Bangladesh. Trade. FTA discussions initiated to reduce or eliminate customs duties. Infra projects. Road, rail, shipping and port infrastructure in Bangladesh, which allows India's landlocked northeast to access the Bay of Bengal and bypass the Chicken's Neck. The Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, or BIMSTEC, India's new trade partners in the East. The Teesta River project, for which Sheikh Hasina had favored India over China just a fortnight before she resigned. The Maitri project, a trans-border pipeline project funded by India to transport high-speed diesel from the Numaligarh refinery in Assam to northern Bangladesh. With these heavy-duty investments made by India over the last decade, what we are talking about today is, will these investments be delayed or halted? What will the new order of business look like? And how does India need to proceed from here? Joining me to discuss this today are Ambassador Deepak Vora, former Indian diplomat, Manish Chand, senior journalist, and in the studio with me is my colleague Aditya Raj Kaul. Gentlemen, welcome to the News 9 Plus show. Ambassador Vora, I want to start by asking you this. India has invested so much of political, economic capital in Bangladesh over the last 15 years under Sheikh Hasina's rule. Some even called it the golden age of India-Bangladesh ties. We thought it would last forever, but clearly not. What must India do now to stabilize the situation? Is everything lost for India in Bangladesh?
Well, thank you very much. Always a pleasure, sir, to be with you on your amazing channel. And then, of course, you have the two other colleagues whose knowledge is much greater than mine. Let me begin by saying I've been ambassador to 6 countries and I've been in this region for quite some time. I've seen what happened in Sri Lanka, what happened in Nepal, what happened in Maldives. It was always, oh, India's had it, sab khatam ho gaya, sab barbaad ho gaya, etc., etc. That was the narrative each time, but nothing really happened. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, our brand equity is so deep in that country, right. It's not going to go away easily. Sir, India has always dealt with whoever controls the levers of power, whoever is officially the head of government or state. Individuals really don't matter. Now, we said it will last forever. Sheikh Hasina was what, 77? Was she going to be around like that Chinese ting-tong fellow for the next 5,000 years? No, she was going to go away sooner rather than later because she has age not on her side.
Right.
So, sir, what done in Bangladesh, and you very rightly put it that there is political capital we've invested, economic capital, financial resources, we have investment. We've given soft loans, we've invested, our business people have invested in that country. Bangladeshi students have come here to study, our students have gone there. All that is not going to go away. What I see happening in Bangladesh today, and remember, sir, that there are 300 million, I repeat this figure, 300 million Bengalis, very emotional and sometimes volatile, many of my friends from me, living on either side of the border, in Bangladesh and in West Bengal. Sheikh Hasina was a friend of India, we all know that. I was there in 1971, I know exactly what has happened. We respected her father, he respected us, and she understood. She has a memory about what had happened at that time. So she has gone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the next regime or the regime that comes is going to be terrible as far as India is concerned. They can't do without us. China is too far away. And if they're having problems in their country, and we all know America's involved in it, there used to be a clown called Ambassador Haas, Tommy Haas or something like that. Peter Haas, I think he ran away from there, etc., etc. We all know what has happened. We all know that the US has cancelled her diplomatic visa. England has denied her entry. And let me put it to you like this, sir. She is a Muslim, belongs to a Muslim country. She doesn't go to 56 other Islamic nations for sanctuary. She comes to me, sir. I mean, what more I have to tell you about India for people to understand? So she's here. She's going to stay. She might fall ill. We'll give her treatment, whatever. But I don't see anything happening overnight. There is a clash between Bangladesh's Islamic identity and Bengal identity. And I believe in the long run, the Bengali identity will prevail. And let me put it to you like this: Muhammad Yunus character who has come there, he is an acknowledged crook. He's an acolyte of the Americans. He was, I'm told he used to polish Hillary Clinton's kitchen, whatever. She gave him a lot of money. Half of it he promptly sent back to the Clinton Foundation. He's not a reliable guy. People say he's anti-India. Well, we'll see. The bottom line is Bangladesh realizes it cannot do without India. And these were not students who were waving female underwear and so on and breaking statues and burning the ISKCON temple in other places. These were jihadis, and they are going to be thrown out, exposed as soon as possible.
Right. Very pertinent issues outlined there, Ambassador Deepak Vora, as you always do. You've given us a lot to chew on, but I'm going to ask my colleague Aditya Raj Kaul here, who's been following these developments last couple of hours. Aditya, do you share Ambassador Vora's optimism on the fact that India isn't going away from Bangladesh? Given the fact that the kind of violence that we saw in the last couple of hours, horrific kind of violence, minorities being targeted, anti-India interests running loose in the streets of Dhaka, will this continue, or do you see a reset happening soon?
Both actually, Sandeep. India certainly, Bangladesh cannot do away with India completely. We are the closest neighbor. We have come to the rescue so many times.
Yes.
We are strategic partners, and beyond that, we have so many projects that are active currently in Bangladesh. And they cannot just suddenly stop all the projects,
Right.
stop the diplomatic ties and go away with it.
Yes.
At a time when, Bangladesh is looking towards a stability,
Right.
looking towards having good diplomatic ties with several countries, the first of all would be India, certainly, because India is in its neighborhood. It would want to have better trade ties. But
Right.
at the same time, there's been a systematic persecution of minorities that's been happening,
Yes.
not right now, but for decades together in Bangladesh. We've seen from Dhaka to Chittagong to other places
Yes.
where temples have been attacked. The latest attacks, and this is not just me speaking, there's a Reuters report
Right.
which says that 30 to 40 temples have been attacked.
Yes.
There are close to 150 members of the Hindu minority who are injured. There are at least 3 to 5 Hindu minority members, both politicians, journalists and common
Yes.
men, who have been killed, who have been lynched by
Who've been
these Islamist jihadis. And
Yes.
they, New York Times had a headline this
Yes.
morning. New York Times said that these are revenge attacks
Revenge
against
attacks,
the Hindus.
justifying
it.
mean,
How is
horrific.
it a revenge attack when it's a
Right.
systematic pogrom? It's a systematic,
Yes.
carnage. It's almost like a genocide
Right.
that's happening slowly and steadily. What we saw in Kashmir and what
Absolutely.
we have been witnessing in Pakistan. So both these things are important. But
Yes.
beyond that, the most important and strategic point is what will India do?
Right.
It's a strategic, defeat in many ways. It's a catch-22 for India,
Yes.
where Sheikh Hasina is in its backyard, and they would want to have stability in Bangladesh and good
Right.
ties with Bangladesh. So
Right.
they will be monitoring the situation closely, but they would want Sheikh Hasina to disembark. In fact, leave as
Leave India.
as early as possible.
Right, but there's no country who willing to accept her. And as Ambassador Vora just mentioned, there are over 50 Muslim countries. Not one of them is offered to shelter her.
And beyond that, Europe.
Yes.
Europe, which wants to shelter everyone possible in
Yes.
the world,
Right.
is not willing to. UK is not
Yes.
willing to. There are far-right and anti-immigration
Right.
protests that are happening that have, in fact, led to hundreds of people being arrested. Even
Right.
yesterday in London,
Yes.
there were clashes that were reported.
Absolutely.
And UK is not accepting Sheikh Hasina at all.
Yes.
This is a great game that we are witnessing.
Right.
Where, at a time when Sheikh Hasina wants shelter, wants a Western
Yes.
country to come to her rescue, nobody is willing to.
As Aditya, as you correctly pointed out, possibly Sheikh Hasina is safer in India than she is in the US or the UK.
Absolutely.
Given the kind of street violence that we've seen in the UK and US, and crowds running around of fundamentalist Islamists. But I'm just reading this piece that Muhammad Yunus wrote in The Economist, where he says, it's just about 2 days old, he says that although some countries such as India back the ousted Prime Minister and earn the enmity of the Bangladeshi people as a result, there will be many opportunities to heal these kind of rifts and to resume bilateral alliances and close friendships soon. He's literally echoing what Ambassador Vora said, that the fact is that India cannot be wished away from the neighborhood. Manish Chand, you share this optimism, the fact that India is here to stay despite all of what's going on now. You know, you have Mohammad Yunus saying, look, we're very unhappy. India said this, that, but sorry, you have a 4,000 kilometer border with us. You are our largest neighbor.
Yes, so, India is very structurally embedded,
Yes.
in a sense, with Bangladesh. Economically, development, cooperation, history, culture. So there is so much of intertwining that you cannot wish India away. So India will remain sort of indispensable, because otherwise, I mean, if you look at it from Bangladesh's point of view, what is the alternative? Who will fill in that gap?
Yes.
Suppose they ask India out, and India is out, then who's going to fill in? The United States, all the Western countries? I doubt very much. India is their largest neighbor. We are involved with some of those things, and development projects executed by India have impacted the lives of people. All the connectivity we have seen being built. I mean, you have to understand that if this new regime, which is about to shape up, is speaking for the people of Bangladesh, or is it somewhere network of vested interest? If it is speaking for people of Bangladesh, then they will have to, navigate relationship with India in a creative and constructive manner. There is really no choice. And the same thing goes for India. Bangladesh is strategically far too important. Economically, we have got closer and more integrated. So this has been, in fact, the success story of India's neighborhood first policy. And some say that Sheikh Hasina was India's last standing friend in the neighborhood. And I'm also appalled at demonization of Sheikh Hasina. And how the Western countries are displaying brazen double standards. Come to think of it, these countries have sponsored and supported, worse people.
The worst dictatorships in the world. Let's not forget, Yahya Khan was an ally of the United States when he was committing genocide in East Pakistan.
So, this lady, this Sheikh Hasina, in all fairness, of course, she became autocratic. We know what wrong she did, but she did several right things. Bangladesh is no longer a basket case as it was 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
Bangladesh secularism became a major attraction. Now, what is it the Western countries are doing? Who are they handing over this to if they were involved? Clearly, we have to disentangle so-called student protests from the regime change operation. There is solid evidence to suggest that the two things are different. It was a regime change operation. And you see how well it has been choreographed. All of a sudden, Mohammad Yunus comes into there. And, with the certain speed with which everything happens. So, basically, what I see is that India is far too important for Bangladesh. Whatever the regime that shapes up, even the Jamaat and even Khaleda Jia has already started sounding a bit placatory and sort of reaching out, so to speak.
India is too big to ignore. And in fact, I'm going to ask, Ambassador Deepak Vohra this. The second part of Mohammad Yunus's piece in The Economist is of great interest, Ambassador Vohra. He says that, I hope our liberation can revive the suspended SAARC and make it a powerful force for integration in our region and beyond. That's a very interesting choice of words, given the fact that how heavily India banked on BIMSTEC to offset SAARC, which had been shelved because of Pakistan's sponsorship of terror. Do you see this as becoming Bangladesh's policy in the next couple of months, Ambassador Vohra? The fact that, look, we need to get Pakistan back on board. SAARC is the way to go forward. India, Pakistan and Bangladesh together.
I said at 85, the fellow has lost his marbles. It's time for him to transition to a better world. He's an ass. And this kind of thing revives SAARC. Revives SAARC for what did SAARC achieve? SAARC achieved zilch. And it accepts that we spend money, this, that, and the other. And then the Pakistanis was using it all the time for bilateral issues, which was not supposed to be part of the SAARC chapter. The world has moved way beyond. What does this guy want to do? Go back and revive the League of Nations that was created after the First World War and that died as soon as Shri Adolf Hitler decided to do all the funny things that he did? We are looking at BRICS. We are looking at New World Order. We're looking at a dying United Nations, and we're trying to see what is going to emerge from that. So all this nonsense, I don't think you should believe. And then the fact that he hopes
you're saying
that,
it's more
India will do all these
idealistic.
lovely things.
Right. Ambassador Vohra, sorry to interrupt you, but you're saying that this is just woolly-headed idealism from Mohammad
It's not
Yunus,
even
and it's
idealism.
not anything. It's not part of any script, as
No,
Manish Chand was saying.
It's stupidity. Why would anyone want to revive SARC?
Right.
I mean, why do you want to flog a dead horse? It has nothing to do. What have we got to do, sir? Look at the size of my economy. I've crossed 4 trillion. Look at those chaps across the border, Atankistan. What are they? 350 or 400 billion? I'm 10 times their size. What are we talking about? And all this business about Bangladesh's indicators being better than mine, arrant nonsense. This is all inspired reporting in the Western media. Oh, ji, ye ho jayega, wo ho jayega, etc. No. The fact is that I'm the elephant in this area and I can't cut off my legs to come to their size. They will have an issue with me. I may or may not have an issue with them. The fact is, SARC is dead. We are now looking, as you rightly said, at BIMSTEC. We're looking at the Indian Ocean, whatever. We are looking at BRICS. We're looking at many other organizations. And SARC ko ab bhul jao, sir, dafna do usko. I mean, I can hold a prayer meeting and we can all say, oh, our best beloved SARC has gone. That may be the best.
SARC is dead. Long live BIMSTEC, BRICS and beyond. Ambassador Vora nails it for us. India has high stakes in Bangladesh, but and very clearly India is the elephant in the room. It's not going away anywhere. We may have suffered temporary setbacks, but as our panelists have just told us today, India is not going away anywhere. It stays in Bangladesh. All those investments made in Bangladesh over the last 10-15 years amount to something, and they will over the next couple of days as we watch the developments in Dhaka very closely. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, Ambassador Vora, Manish Chand. My colleague Aditya Raj Kaul continues to join me in the studio. Colonel Ashok Kumar Tara rescued Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's family, including former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, from Pakistani captivity during the 1971 Bangladesh War. Listen to what happened on the 17th of December 1971 and catch his full interview done by my colleague Geeta Datta only on the News 9 Plus app.
The inside, the Mrs. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and Sheikh Hasina and sister family was there. They told me, shouted, don't listen to them, don't permit them. They are such people, they can fire anytime, they can kill anytime. And they previous night also tried to kill us. See, I knew it. I told them, now please tell me, I am Indian Army officer. I promised you, I'll take you safely to the headquarters where you can feed family. Otherwise, when the Muktiwani come and kill you, you won't be knowing where your body is there. They won't be able to see your dead body. Like this, the conversation went for some time. And they agreed, they came down. Now, when they came down, I told my vehicle was there, John, take them to the headquarters.